Hi and happy new year. It is 2017 and I know everyone was preparing for this new year, and some people might have had resolutions, new year resolutions and goals that they want to reach. Well, I'm Sequoya, your new life purpose coach, and I just wanted to take the time out today to encourage you. Now, we've all had our partying going on. We celebrated with family. We brought the new year in together, or you was at home, or maybe you was at work and you brought the new year in. But no matter what, it is still a new year. But at the same time, you are still the same you. And so I want to encourage you not to do the same you things. But there are things that are the same within you, and that is your dreams and your goals, your visions, the things that you've always wanted to do, certain accomplishments that you wanted to make. And sometimes what happened in the past was that you got started on them, but then you put it on a back burner and you said that you'll get back to it because what happens? Life. And in 2017, life is going to happen again. It's still going to happen no matter what. There are things that's still going to arise that's going to cause you or make you feel like you have to put your dreams and your goals and the things that you want to accomplish on that back burner. Well, today I want to encourage you to take those things off of the back burner and start stirring those pots again, because like in a talk I recently gave, I discussed about how you put the pot, when you place a pot on the back burner on a low flame, and you're just sitting it there and you're saying, I'm going to get back to it, I just want to keep it heated up a little bit. What happens is, if you keep it on that low flame for too long, the contents of that pot begins to what? Evaporate, or it starts to dry out. And then eventually, if you leave it on that back burner for too long, what starts to happen? Not the top of the pot or the top of what's in the pot begins to burn out. The bottom of the pot begins to start slightly burn. And it starts to burn out. And then the bottom of the contents that's inside of the pot begins to burn out. And right now, and from last year or years prior, what happens is you end up getting burnt out, and the rest of the year becomes a miserable one for you. Well, I don't want that to happen to you this year. I want you to have a fresh start right now, today. I want you to make a promise that you're going to take that pot off of the back burner. See, things happen. Like when you put your pot on the back burner, it could be because you want to keep something warm while you're starting to cook on other things. Or maybe you have to go do something else in the house, and so you want to keep that pot going. You don't want the food to stop cooking, but you want to keep it on a low heat so it can still be cooking slightly, but also staying warm. It's the same thing with the things in your life. You might set out to accomplish something. Like some of you may be going to school. Some of you want to start a business. Some of you want to write a book, or you want to pick up a hobby that you're doing, that you started, and you want to continue it going on with it. You might have wanted to monetize that hobby and make it a business. You might want to sing, you might want to dance. It may be anything that you wanted to do, whether that's even putting your all into being a parent or being a better you. This year, you have a fresh opportunity to take that off the back burner or start something new. Things happen in our lives. People become ill. You have bills that you have to pay. You might feel like or notice that you're ending up in debt, or you can't keep up with life right now. You might be going through a breakup. Your children may be going through some things, and you just feel like those are higher priorities right now that you have to deal with. But what starts to happen is sometimes you get so engulfed in those things that it starts to overwhelm you. You can't get back to what's on the back burner, or you forget that that pot is on the stove, and then it starts to burn. And then that's when you recognize that, oh, I had something on the stove. So when you get burnt out, that's the same thing. You had something that you were doing and you put it to the side, and now you're no longer happy because those things that you were doing that you put on the back burner, those things made you happy. When you were doing it, nothing else mattered. It took your mind off of everything else because you were doing something that was put in you to do, something that was important to your happiness and important to your success and important to who you are. But when life happens, it's inevitable. We have to stop sometimes and get down to the reality of the nitty-gritty of those things that's happening. You might have to go to the hospital. You might have to take care of a loved one. You might physically become ill yourself. You might have to say, okay, I have to work 2 jobs now, or I have to do because I need more income in. My children need fees for school. I need to put food in this house, and everything starts to pile up. Well, listen, The bottom line is you have to take care of those things. But you have to take care of them in such a way where they don't engulf you. You have to know that I'm going to set a plan to make sure that these things get taken care of, that I'm still fulfilling everything that I'm supposed to do, my duties as a mother, a spouse, a sibling, a daughter, a son, a father, whatever it is, a grandparent. I'm still going to fulfill those duties, head of household duties. But I'm going to have a plan in the system in a way that I'm going to deal with it so that I can still have time for myself. Because those things that make you happy that you put on the back burner is a part of you. It is yourself. Those are things that you have to nurture and take care of. You have to take care of yourself. If you have a goal to become physically fit, to become more healthy, you can't put that on a back burner because this is your life that you're talking about. It's the same thing with any of your dreams. If you're going to school because you're trying to become a better person so that you can get a better career and make more money, you have to do that, because if you keep taking on certain jobs, it's not going to help you get to the place of having one job, one career where you can make enough money for you and your family. You have to find a way to still make the time to take those pots off the back burner, stir them back up, even if you have to do it little by little by little. You have to do this. You owe it to yourself. This is what you were born to do. You were born to accomplish things that make you happy, that make you successful. True success doesn't come from always having a lot of money. It comes from truly being happy, because there are people who have a lot of money and they sell their souls to make that money, but they're not happy. You see it all the time. People commit suicide and you're like, what was they upset about? What was so hard for them when they had all of this money? It's because it wasn't making them happy. It's those things they placed on a back burner that made them happy. They didn't even know who they were anymore because they were doing everything else for the wrong intentions. Or they were doing it for the right intentions, but they weren't doing the things that made them happy. They just weren't. Some of you want to be accountants, lawyers, but you had to settle for something else because you had immediate needs. It's okay. You have to deal with those immediate needs. You cannot let them pile up, but you need to put a plan in place. I'm going to work these 2 jobs, or I'm going to do this with my children or my loved ones. And at the same time, I'm going to make time for what really makes me happy. Because if you're not happy, no one else is. And if you're not happy, you're going to get burnt out. And then everything is going to stress you out. And that takes a toll on not only your mind, but your body as well. It becomes stressful. You don't know who you are. You're like, I don't even know what makes me happy anymore. Yeah, you do. You just forgot about it on that back burner. And once it got burnt out, it's hard to remember what it was. It just like the contents in that pot, once it starts to burn, it's hard to see what it once originally was, or what it was that you were setting out for it to become. Because now it's becoming distorted. Or if it was water, it's becoming evaporated, and piece by piece is just going away. It's the same thing with your dreams, your goals, and your happiness. You have to say, I am going to make time this year for me and what makes me happy. You make everybody else happy. Here's another thing. Some of you are giving so much to other people to make them happy, to help them feel whole, to make sure that they're not alone. And you're expecting them to give it back to you. Well, I'm going to let you know that they can't give it back to you. So stop expecting it. You are the pro in that area. That's why you're there in their lives. That's why you're helping them, whether it's a loved one, your children, whether it's even your job. You're the expert in that area. So guess what? As the expert in that area, you not only are obligated to give it to other people, you are obligated to give it to yourself. Because let's face it, whatever it is in our lives that we are purposed to do, whatever we have a passion for, it not only helps others, but it helps us ourselves. It not only helps ourselves, but it helps others. But see, it's broken up and it doesn't work when you're only catering to one or the other. So if you're only doing it to help yourself, the plan is not fulfilled, because you're not only supposed to keep it to yourself, you're supposed to share it with other people. And it's the same way the other way around. If you're only utilizing it to help other people, you're robbing yourself. You are supposed to be happy from that too. You can't expect other people to give to you what you're the expert in. You have to know how to give it to both and give it to yourself first. Because if you're not right, you can't help other people be right. If you give it to yourself first, you're going to learn how to maintain it. And you're going to learn how to keep that balance and the rotation going. And that way, once you master it, you'll be able to teach and help other people maintain that same thing themselves. So if you're there for somebody who's not feeling well, or you're there for somebody who is financially unable to do things in their lives, you can give them money to help them. But if you can't teach them how to maintain their own finances, or you can't be a perfect example of how to maintain the finances, they're going to continue falling into that same ditch. So you have to first master it yourself and give it to yourself so that you can be that perfect example and the perfect teacher. You are a teacher. You are learning lessons yourself that you are mastering and perfecting, and you have to be able to do that for yourself so that you can teach other people how to do it. You have to give it both ways. You can't hold it to yourself, and you can't only give it to other people. You won't feel like you're lacking anything or like there's a void within you if you learn how to give it to yourself as well. So I encourage you this year to take that pot off of the back burner, stir it back up. Make time to still complete that recipe and complete that dish in your own life so that you can continuously give it to somebody else, and you won't have to stay stuck on helping the same person because you done mastered it and you're going to teach them how to master it too. Take that pot off the back burner or start something new and finish it to completion. Keep giving to yourself so you don't get burnt out, because once you're burnt out, you can't help anyone else. So help yourself first. That's my time.